Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, the Taylorisms. I'm so excited that you're here, and it looks like we're celebrating Easter today, or as many of us call it, Resurrection Sunday if you're a believer. But for those of you who are not, I still am happy that you're here on my channel. I do believe in community. I believe in us all coming together regardless of our unique beliefs and backgrounds and creating something great. So I think most of you follow my social media, and I appreciate all of the community that we're building there on my Instagram at TaylorM_Risden. But I did want to jump on and just wish you all a happy Resurrection Sunday. When I reflect on Jesus and the sacrifice that he made, it really was a sacrifice out of love, 100%. All of his decisions were fueled by love and also fueled by faith. I always have this special quote that I came up with of our decisions are either fueled by fear or fueled by faith. And I do believe that when we walk through life, a lot of times we either make decisions because of the faith that we have that things will work out, or we make decisions based on the fact that we are afraid, and that's a decision being fueled by our fear. So I am just so grateful that Jesus made the sacrifice of believing in his Father, believing in love, fueling all of his decisions by faith that his Father was going to pull him through and see him through, and that he would raise from the grave. So it's a beautiful thing. I actually posted on my Instagram, and I'm looking at it over here because I have the worst memory. But it's one of my favorite scriptures to reflect on, and it's Philippians 3:10-11. And it reads, "I want to know Christ and experience the mighty power that raised him from the dead. I want to suffer with him, sharing in his death, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead." And when I think about this, breaking it down line by line, I want to know Christ and experience the mighty power that raised him from the dead. So that first line of like this concept of like knowing God and knowing Christ enough to believe in that power, that faith, like believing that we are living for something greater than ourselves. We are living for something more than the here and now, and to have purpose. And that power through the purpose gives us this feeling of being reborn. You know, we are supposed to die to our flesh, die to these human bodies and human desires of what we want, and be selfless, and be focused on Christ and focused on winning souls and focused on the kingdom, right? So, I think it's just an interesting first line, like knowing God and experiencing the power, that strength that was able to bring him back to life when everybody thought that he was dead. The only way, I think, at least for me in my life, the only way that I can experience that power is through dying unto myself every single day. And this isn't meant to be a video that is, Bible thumping, but it is to think about whether you're a believer or not. Maybe for you, it's just about living a selfless life that's focused on others and serving and giving of your unique gifts and talents. And that is dying unto yourself. That is experiencing the power of Jesus Christ dying on the cross, because he did have to choose for himself to die in the flesh physically so that we could have a life free from sin, so to speak, and be saved. Because we do still experience sin and still sin every day, all of us. But we have the power to still be reunited with him one day and raise from the dead and into this is a whole nother thing, but truly we have that power because Christ died for us. And that was such a selfless act in the flesh, that saved our spirit. So when I think about my life here on earth right now, it's so important for me to die to my flesh, whether it's I want to say something snide to somebody that bothered me, and I die unto my flesh and I say, you know what? I'm going to pray for you, but I'm pissed, right? Because we can still be human. I think a lot of times as Christians, we walk around like, oh, I can't have any emotion, or I can't be upset about that. And scripture tells us that we can be angry, but we're not supposed to sin. So again, thinking about this scripture, Philippians 3:10-11, second line says, I want to suffer with him, sharing in his death, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead. So suffering with Christ to me looks like, again, choosing to be selfless when I can have a snide remark, choosing to think of others before myself, choosing to just humble myself when I really do want to be prideful and hold grudges. Like, that's what it means to me. And so maybe you'll get something different. The rest of my posts on my IG, and you can go and check it out later, but it says to know Christ is, this is what my personal verbiage, not scripture, but to know Christ is to chase after opportunities for selflessness. So where in your life can you be selfless and can you give freely to others? Whether you have the resources of time or the resources of speech, maybe that's where you can give of yourself. Like, where can you be selfless instead of getting upset with your spouse? As trust me, I do it every single day. Like, and I'm sure Jonathan gets upset with me, but like, instead of being upset, like really truly understanding where they're coming from and feeling for them. Like, I'm learning to have more empathy for the people in my lives, even if I don't understand their actions sometimes. So that's something that, you know, to really know Christ is to be selfless. To really know Christ is to ask more questions. Like, I've had some tough conversations with people that I've met who maybe like, you know, I said something that bothered them, and I've had those tough conversations to understand them better and understand their perspectives better. And that is an act of being selfless. Again, to know Christ is to love others despite their many flaws. We know we're all flawed, and God continues to love us and to open up his arms, whether we're seeing and speaking with him and having community with him every single day, or whether we take 5 months off from talking to God. Like, when he comes back, we open up our arms he opens up his arms openly and freely and welcomes us back in, and we almost get the chance to pick up where we left off. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every person in your life that's hurt you, if they come back, you're supposed to accept that. I'm not saying that by any means, but I am saying that we can forgive them. I am saying that we can love them from a distance and we can set our boundaries. So that's something else. And then the final thing that I shared, you know, was to know Christ is to recognize his sacrifice, not just today, but every day. I check my Bible app frequently. I'm not saying that you have to be the perfect Christian and read the Bible and go to all the church sermons every single day, but I do think to know Christ and to really love Christ is to recognize his sacrifice. So I've been overwhelmed with joy seeing all of your posts online about Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. Our family does a mixture of both. So like, we do the Easter eggs, Easter egg hunt type things, like not with real eggs by any means, because as you know, we are vegan. So this year Easter looked a little different. Last year we did an Easter egg hunt and we did dyeing eggs, but this year with us being vegan now, we actually are going to paint instead of doing the dyeing of the eggs. So we replaced that with like painting on canvas. And then we, instead of doing all the Easter chocolate, the Easter bunny brought along some baskets with like some cute things that are practical, because we don't want to like waste a lot of stuff. So everything that the Easter bunny brought to each of us was very practical, sustainable. And then again, just things that we can obviously use and enjoy, but not tons of like chocolates or anything. And all of the chocolate that the Easter bunny brought was vegan, so that was good. So then again, just like when we're recognizing Jesus' sacrifice, it's important to do that every day, even if it's in a small quiet prayer, and just showing the world like who Jesus is through your actions. Because I see so many people who are just like posting scriptures day in and day out, who are talking about how they're reading the Bible, but like, are you showing people in your day-to-day life how to love God through just who you are and how you show up and how you treat other people? Are you showing people who Jesus is through living in faith? Like, I've seen and read some crazy stories of people who just like went through a hard season, whether it was suffering with the loss of a loved one or battling disease in their bodies, and they still have faith and they're still preaching and they're still talking about God and they're still spreading the gospel. Like, that is showing the human sacrifice, very similar to Jesus. That's showing that you're still going to have faith in your Father, even if you're going through a hard time. And we're all walking through very interesting seasons right now. So that's all. I just want to wish you all a happy Resurrection Sunday. Thank you again for stopping by my channel. Please connect with me on Instagram. I'm really excited about some of the upcoming projects I have. I've had some great interviews with some wonderful folks that I've met online, and I'm going to continue to have great interviews with people who don't necessarily think exactly like me. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing in and of itself. Like, to surround yourself with people like Jesus did, who weren't 100% exactly like him, is a beautiful thing. And I think that's what, like, being a Christ follower is all about. It's about connecting with those who look like you, who don't look like you, who speak like you, who don't speak like you, who believe like you, who don't believe like you. That's what it's about. So happy Easter, happy Resurrection Sunday, and I will talk to you all soon. Don't forget to subscribe as well to my newsletter. There's a link in my bio on Instagram at Taylor M. Risden, Taylor M_Risden. There is a link in my bio. So please subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm trying to build my community, but also please subscribe to my newsletter. You'll get monthly, bi-weekly to monthly news of some updates and some products that I recommend in this vegan journey. And then you'll also get to hear from me, and we'll also get to connect. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're enjoying your family. Sorry this is a little bit longer. Hopefully you're just watching it in your spare time or have it on loud while you're cooking with your family and spending time. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.